Welcome to this episode of the Left Behind Game Club. This week, we play Metro 2033. If you like video games, consider joining our Discord channel. If you go to leftbehindgame.club, scroll down to the Discord section of the website, you can join in, come and talk to us about video games, video game deals, and really anything else that you want. Now, Mike might have missed the recording of this episode, but that doesn't mean that Mo didn't try to recreate that special Mike Ruffalo magic.
And that, my friends, is one game left, not left, but damn it, where's Mike?
Well, that, and try to steal my job.
Welcome to the Left Behind Game Club, our show of never-ending attempts of something where we play video games. My name is Jacob McCourt, and with me are, I can't believe I'm going to say this, two friends. My first friend, Mr. Jacob McCourt.
Hi, thanks. I'm on it twice.
You're listening to the Left Behind Game Club.
Welcome to the Left Behind Game Club, our never-ending attempt to make sure that no game is left behind. I'm your host, Jacob McCourt, and today I have two friends with me. The first friend is a friend you know, joining us through the wonders of the internet. It's Murtadi.
How's it going, guys?
It's going well. And then I have another friend, his first time on the podcast for this illustrious episode 30. It's Josh Wilson. Josh, welcome to the Left Behind Game Club.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Of course. Today we're playing Metro 2033. It's developed by 4A Games, published initially by THQ, released on PC, Xbox 360 on March 16th, 2010. It was re-released as a part of a Redux pack that came out in 2014 for Mac, PC, Linux, PS4, Xbox One. Let's talk about a video game, shall we?
We shall. Did you guys play that Redux version or the first original version?
Yeah, it's a really good point. So, like I said, two different versions. Josh, how did you play the game? Did you play the original or did you play the Redux pack?
Well, I looked in my Steam library, and when I was first asked to play this game for the show, I noticed that I had it in my library since 2013, actually.
Did you buy it from Steam or did you get it for free somehow?
I think I got it from Steam. And it was one of those games in my library, as everyone has, that has 0 minutes played.
I got tons of those games. I know this game was given away for free on Humble about 2 or 3 months ago. And so I had a copy on PC, I had a copy on 360, and then I'm an idiot who loves to buy games multiple times, so I went out and I bought the Xbox One version for reasons that I'll explain a little bit later. Mo, how did you play the game?
I played it on Steam too, but mine was kind of one of those things where we decided we're going to play this game. I think it was when that Humble Bundle dropped, and it was like really cheap to get the package. I bought it and then realized, holy crap, it's the Redux version. I'm not sure if this is the right game. Sure enough, though, it's the exact same game. I think it's just like updated graphics, from my understanding. Same story, visuals are a little bit different, and it just looks a little better.
Yeah, I think they made some adjustments to difficulty settings. So difficulty settings are different. Some of the UI is different. And then the graphics are different, but apart from that, it is exactly the same game. So do we want to start by just kind of explaining what Metro 2033 is all about? Because the way I always thought about it, I've wanted to play this game for years. So it's been one of those games that everyone talks about Metro 2033, and I'm like, yeah, that game where like bullets are currency, it's going to be a great game. So that's all I've known about this game. I guess I'll ask Mo, what did you know about this game before you started playing it?
So when I built my first computer, one of the things you do when you're like seeing if you have a really sweet computer is you run benchmarks to see the performance of your graphics card, your CPU, and all that good stuff. And I always saw Metro 23 as like one of those like benchmark games. So, it gets 120 FPS with the GTX, whatever, and so on and so forth. So I always knew it was a game that was used for like benchmarks for the graphics, and I'm assuming it was the Redux version. So that's all the familiarity I had. I just knew it as the name that popped up whenever they ran benchmarks.
Josh, what did you know about Metro before we started playing it?
I didn't really know a whole lot. It was more like Mo said. You kept on seeing it pop up in benchmarks. I've heard it was good. Not gonna lie, I'm kind of disappointed. It wasn't as good as what I was led to believe.
Spoiler alert.
I would tend to agree with you. I would say I was very disappointed by this game, but without let's just get right into it. What is Metro 2033 all about, Mo?
So, in a quick little nutshell, Metro 2033 is a post-apocalyptic alien first-person shooter with, I feel like, a very linear storyline where you go about as this Russian guy who's in this war, and you are for some reason just friendly with every first person that you meet, and they become so attached to you but then as soon as they leave or die or something happens, you just find someone else and attach to them and just continue on with your ambiguous story. There's a little bit of aliens, I think. There's a little bit of maybe aliens. There's some sparks of fire / electric things that can attack but can't attack because they're not really bad or evil. They're just beings. And yeah, you shoot a bunch of stuff. You have no ammo. You can't breathe anywhere. These monsters do not go down easily. Whenever they come at you, you're spending a good couple minutes killing them. And by the time you've pulled all of your hair out, the game is over.
That's a great summary. I'll fill in a little bit of the story there. So it's based on a book series by Dmitry, and I'm sorry if I butchered the name, but Dmitry Glovskovsky. The book is called Metro 2033. It's a series of books. It's very loosely based on this. So in 2013, a nuke drops on the Earth, and it basically forces everyone into underground colonies. And everything on the top of the Earth, like Mo said, you have to wear a respirator when you go over the Earth, like over in the overground. Everyone is mutated. So birds and bears and everything is mutated. And they're just these disgusting, they look like aliens. They're these mutated creatures. And if you go above the surface, like I said, you need a respirator.
Did you also notice that the book, like the hardcover book, appeared throughout the game quite a bit? A little bit of self-promotion there.
It was everywhere. In posters, in books. Like, who would do that? Like, would you just be like, I wrote about my adventures and published it for everyone, and I'm just going to throw them everywhere in these underground colonies?
Hey man, you got to sell copies. It's free promotion. Why not?
You got to push merch.
Yeah.
You're in Russia, and so there's a war between like communists and Nazis that happens underground. You basically like fight within your colonies to survive, but you also fight these creatures called the Dark Ones. And Mo, I didn't really know what was going on with the story until I really went and dug into it afterwards, because man, like the first hour of this game is brutal.
The first in the entire 9 hours. Like I kind of explained it earlier on about the whole story about aliens, but that was the most like honest way of explaining the storyline. You're in post-apocalyptic Russia underground. There's some aliens that you're not sure if they're bad or good. They keep telling you have to make a decision eventually, and you don't understand what decision. And even when you're done the game, you're like, did I make a decision? I still, after playing this game, I didn't dig in much afterwards because I was just like, I don't really care. Like the story itself was very, I feel like it wanted to be so big. And you know what? We could be just playing this game and just completely have missed the deep, awesome, great story that maybe lies in there. But it didn't get me. And I'm not the one that usually like reads into stuff like this. But how did you feel about it?
I was kind of lost throughout the whole game. Sometimes when you're watching a TV show or something, you're on your phone, like not really paying full attention to it. Well, I was paying full attention to this game, and I felt like that. Like I was, a little distracted or something by the game while playing the game and not understanding what I'm actually doing.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a mess. The only, I guess, the thing that kept me kind of like interested in the beginning is more or less the ridiculousness of the main character just always getting attached to someone new. And like as soon as he meets this brand new person, Jacob, if you know the name of the first person.
So you play as Artyom. That's the name of the main character. He's 20 years old, and he's the son of the commander of the outpost that you're in. But like you said, you meet, I think he's a hunter. Is his name Hunter, or is he a hunter? There are these elite group of soldiers that are allowed to go above the earth, like allowed to go above ground. And I think they're called... Are they called? What are they called?
I think I found it. Pavel. Pavel was the first one he meets, I believe. Is one of the guys, and he was a ranger. He wasn't
That's
a hunter,
it,
he was
rangers. Yes. So these rangers, they're like elite soldiers. They can go above ground. They like to kill the Dark Ones. So Dark Ones attack your colony, and your dad, who's the commander, he's like, you need to figure out what's going on. Just go and figure it out. And then, like Mo said, you like go in the underground metro system in Russia that they've, shown throughout the game a lot, and you just meet a character. They take you a little bit farther, then they die. You meet another character, they take you a little further, then they get killed. You take another, it is just constantly meeting new people, but don't get attached to any of these new people because every single person that you see is going to get killed. Everyone. Spoilers. Everyone's going to get killed.
And it's not even like you're gonna fall in love with them or anything like that. They're very, I don't know, almost
they're unlikable. Every single character is unlikable in this game.
There's no real unique personality trait of any of them, and I hate that we're really digging into this game really negatively. But I have some positives of the game that I'll get into, but maybe just because our raw emotions are just jumping out of this. It didn't feel like a real story, if that kind of makes sense. It was like a put together, random post-apocalyptic event that happened.
Everyone was kind of the typical Russian character that you'd think of. Yeah,
100%. And then every storyline, the heavy accent. It was like an easy. If someone took a high school story writing class and said, "Hey, put together a post-apocalyptic Russian story," they're like, "Okay, we'll have a guy. He'll go into a linear story. He'll meet people. They'll have heavy accents. And that's pretty much it. There's gonna be lots of vodka drinking. It's." Did I undersell exactly what happened? No.
And it was mushroom vodka too, because they couldn't get real vodka because they have no potatoes, so they made their vodka with mushrooms. Yeah. What I found is it tried to. So this game came out in 2010, right? So think about games that came out in that general vicinity. So I think it tried to be a lot. So it tried to be like a military shooter like Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, and doesn't quite hit the same notes. It tries to be like Wolfenstein, like the new Wolfenstein games, in the way that it builds a world around you with characters. You'll go into a colony and just walk up to people and they'll talk to you, or kind of just acknowledge you. You'll knock on doors. You'll go in passages and find secret bullets. You'll meet little kids and they'll take you on tours through the colonies. But I don't think it achieves what any of those games that it tries to be achieves as well as the source material. I don't think it's an excellent shooter. I think it's a very functional, it's a fine shooter. I think as far as world building goes, I'd rather play Wolfenstein than something like this because it has a lot of similar themes. I just think it in every, and let's not even talk about how awful the monsters are in this game. The monster designs I don't think are very good. The way they move, not very good. I have a really hard time coming away from this game and being hey, there's a lot of good about this game. There's really not.
So, did you guys ever see the 90s cartoon called Street Sharks?
No,
I've never seen Street Sharks.
All right, you need to look that up because, at first, those monsters, whenever they jumped out, it was kind of I jumped a little bit. But then after I got a closer look, I was just that looks a lot like that old show, Street Sharks. And yeah, you should definitely look that up.
Were they those buff sharks that had human feet? And
yes.
Okay, I think I know exactly what you're talking. Jacob, I don't know if you can remember, but it was. I think I saw toys of them. I never really saw the show itself. I think Josh is going to be Googling it now and showing Jacob. Yes, he is.
Yeah, he's totally showing me Street Sharks, and wow, that is a really good appraisal of what these guys look like.
And I couldn't take this game seriously after that.
Yeah, there wasn't that much variety of bad guy either. The first real one that you see that occurs throughout the game is the giant dogs. Is that the best way to explain them?
Yeah.
They're big giant wolves that are made of just flesh. I guess they had teeth, they had claws, and they were relentless. They took a lot of ammo to take down. I don't know about you guys. I don't know what level you played on, but for me, I felt like I was unloading clips sometimes, especially if I didn't get shoot for the head and I was just spraying and praying. I pretty much sprayed and lost all my ammo, and I couldn't continue on most battles with it. The next type of person I would say would you consider the flying bat guys? I guess that would be the best. Are there what
do they call them? Demons?
Yeah, but is that what they're called?
I think they just called the there's a demon when it came to try and pick you up and murder you or bring you halfway across the map.
That's what they were calling them when I was playing the game 10 minutes ago before he started.
Yeah, and I think the best way to explain those guys would be giant like humanoids with wings, like bat wings, that swoop down, and they really could, the only thing they had was they'd swoop down, grab you, and throw you like somewhere across the map. Those guys took, I felt like, about the same amount of ammo as well, and they were pretty ridiculous.
Did you watch the Batman animated series when you were younger?
Yeah.
So do you remember the bad guy Man-Bat?
Yep.
Like, that's all speaking more about 90s cartoons, like, all I could imagine was Man-Bat when I saw those demon creatures coming to pick me up. Exactly like you said, humanoid, but like gargoyle-esque wings, and just, they were almost unbeatable. You would just have to run away from them, basically, because you couldn't, at least in the initial parts of the game, you couldn't kill them.
Yeah, you needed a lot of ammo to take them down. It was pretty tricky.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, to be honest, I think there would be 2 actual other bad guys in the game. If you don't count those small little critters that run around, like usual in most like first-person shooters, there's like those small, fast, like fox type demon little things that a couple shots and those guys are dead. And I don't think they even attacked you. Or no, they did. They did. A couple of them did.
They kind of remind me of like the head crabs from Half-Life a little bit.
Yeah. And there's different like variations of them, but nothing to write home about. The ones that really made me want to pull the rest of my hair out were the first like big monster guys, the ogres, I guess. Is that the best way to call them?
Were they librarians?
Yes, librarians. I think they called them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those guys. I have to admit, I did need to install a cheat engine to give me infinite bullets, because I could not, for the life of me, get through any single one of those without like losing everything. Those guys are probably the worst. And so far, all of these bad guys, I didn't feel like they were anything special. They were just a different looking bullet sponge.
Yeah, I think the intention with the librarians is that like you weren't really supposed to kill them. Like, they were just supposed to like terrorize you as you go through the library and try and get the schematics for God knows what reason and escape. I think
really?
You weren't really supposed to. There was actually an achievement on Xbox One, at least. If you killed one, you got an achievement. So that told me that like you weren't really supposed to kill them. Like, they're very hard to kill.
That makes total sense, because I just started completely unloading, and not doing well at all. Yeah, one of the walkthroughs that I watched, because I couldn't figure it out because I kept on running around in circles, ended up being one of the guys just walking around following the librarians around, and they kind of guided you to where you had to go. Oh,
really?
My goodness.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it was somebody that played the game properly. It seems like none of us did or understood the story properly. So,
yeah.
So why don't I ask this question then? So there were, I think you said, Mo, you played the Redux, right?
Yeah.
I played the Redux. Did you play the original game?
I played the original.
You played the original. Okay, cool. So there were multiple different difficulty sets with this game. Do you remember how you played the game difficulty-wise? I'll start with Josh.
I played it on normal to start, and then on a couple of the parts I ended up dying. Last night I stayed up until 3 a.m. playing this, and I spent my afternoon up until a couple minutes ago playing it. So
you really just finished it.
Yeah, I switched it to easy just to get through it a little better.
And Mo, with the Redux, there were like 2 sets of difficulty and then difficulty within that. So did you play it on Spartan or on survival mode?
I picked the easiest one I could understand, and I think Spartan was the easiest one. And then the one after that was, I think it was, what were the options? It was like you were able to get bullets regularly, things like that.
Yeah,
that
so the Spartan difficulty was like the default setting where it's like you take more damage, your enemies take more damage, so you're like bullet sponges.
Yeah.
You have full UI, and even in the world, like say there are bullets laying around, there will be UI prompts to be like, hey, there's a bullet here that you can grab. So on survival, everyone takes less damage, you take less damage, enemies take less damage, your knife throws do more damage. But also, let's say that there's bullets laying on the ground. You literally have to walk up to them, and there's no UI prompt that says, hey, there are bullets here. Like, you just have to see the bullets. Like, there'll be like a shimmer on them, but you'll have to know to go there and pick them up.
Oh, wow. So it doesn't auto pick up then. You have to like click a button, even though there's no button prompt.
Exactly. It's exactly like the game, except there's no UI prompt that says, hey, there are bullets here. And then within each of those 2 difficulties, there's like actual hardness difficulties too. So there's like easy, normal, hardcore, depending on which one you pick.
Yeah, you know what? I'm almost gonna backtrack a little bit on my crazy initial criticism. Um, with because like now just like talking about it, if this game did just come out as a brand new AAA title, um, and you wanted to play a survival esque shooter and you're into the whole like challenge of a game, this may be a pretty cool option, I guess. If you want like the whole creeping around the librarian thing, I completely missed. Like totally my fault. I think that would have been kind of cool to kind of like just make sure they don't attack you and like creep away from them. Because the way I did, I had the negative experience of like, they're not dying, they're not dying. This is the worst game ever. This is the worst game ever. But I'm like, okay, it's a different way to approach it. You know what? My fault. I missed that. The developers maybe did a little bit of a cool thing by changing the traditional, go to the next room, clear the room, go to the next room, clear the room, and that's all the type of games I've played is clear the room, clear the room, clear the room.
But
Yeah.
I think they wanted you to use stealth more than you, like, at least I did. So, like, a lot of the time they were like, use knives, stab people. Like, you don't have to shoot every single thing that is moving. But I don't know about you guys, but I didn't use stealth at all. Like, I was guns blazing. Because despite the game being sold as, like, bullets are scarce, you'll have to save your bullets. Bullets are currency to buy things. Like, I never struggled. I had so many, like, military-grade bullets at the end that I could have easily spent way more of them throughout the game.
Yeah, I found it was pretty easy like to get most of the ammo that I needed before I like used that cheat engine to like get unlimited bullets. The kind of cool thing about the game was the weapon system. I felt like the upgrades were like obviously limited. You weren't able to do like a lot of customization, but once you found like a really cool gun, I was like pretty satisfied. And my cool gun specifically was I think it was the 6-shot revolver shotgun. Do you know what I'm talking about? It had 6 rounds that you could shoot, and it was almost like in like it had its own revolver casing itself, and it was a semi-automatic. So you're like pop, 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 and then you reload like one by one, instead of those regular 2-shot shotguns that existed throughout the game that were really annoying to reload.
Yeah, and you reloaded them you loaded the bullets on the outside. There wasn't like a chamber for a revolver, but like there were spots where you would put the shotgun shells that were visible, and I loved that gun too. That was my favorite gun in the game.
Yeah. To give the visual, it's if anyone plays Overwatch, it's the junkie rat guy, the guy that shoots those bombs. This shotgun was the same similar reload style of like boom, 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 and you're unloading. Josh, what was your gun in this game?
My favorite gun in the game was the automatic shotgun. The one I ended up finding it had like a 20-round mag in it.
Oh my God, what?
Yes, 20 rounds. So, yeah, eventually when I wanted to get through the game quicker, I may or may not have done the infinite ammo thing.
So wait, you guys both use cheat engine to do this?
Just in the last few minutes, so I could actually talk about the game instead of, not being able to give a full experience on it if I didn't actually finish the game.
Right, and you guys both played it on PC then, right?
PC, yes.
PC.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I played it on Xbox One. I don't think we said that before.
Yeah, no. To be honest, if anything, especially the way I like to play games, that cheat engine made me like the game a little bit more, just because I was able to like use the weapons, and I obviously didn't take advantage of like the alternative ways of playing this game. I didn't know there was a 20-round shotgun.
Yeah, I ended up finding it. I don't remember where I found it, but it was just, I think I pulled it off of a Nazi's corpse or something like that.
Jacob, do you think it could have been like the Redux version didn't have that gun?
It totally could have been. I never found that gun because there were like rail guns and there were like I love the revolver in that game. The revolver was great. You had various different like machine guns or like assault rifles, airsoft guns, 100% that shoot little BBs. But I never found that 20 mag shotgun. But that sounds like a totally like bitchin' weapon.
I was able to defeat the demons and those big librarians pretty easily.
Yeah, so it takes like 3 reloads of your 6-round semi-automatic shotgun to take those guys down. And we have Josh over here just unloading clips left and right on librarians and saying, "Oh, they weren't that bad." Of course they weren't that bad, man.
They were super easy. It's fine.
Yeah, no, I think that besides that one, I wasn't too attached to any of the guns. There was some pellet guns that looked kind of cool, but only shot pellets and didn't really do anything for me. But near the end, that flamethrower, though, did you guys as soon as I got that flamethrower and I had the unlimited cheat code, the fun fact about it is it didn't work because it didn't keep the flamethrower reloaded with like gasoline. You actually had to find gasoline to scorch some of these guys.
You had to find gasoline for it.
Yeah.
Oh, mine just overheated.
You know what the problem with me is? So I got the flamethrower, and I thought it was, you know how in some games you get like a special weapon, and that special weapon at the end of the game, like you don't hold it, you basically like keep it, and then as soon as you try and change weapons, you drop it. Like a Halo turret, kind of. Like you pick up the Halo turret, and as soon as you're done with it, you drop it. I thought it was a weapon like that.
Wait,
so
there's a flamethrower that you could pick up?
Yes.
I was talking about the one on the back of the cart or whatever.
No.
So that might be a difference in the regular game, is that for us it was an actual weapon that you could hold on to in the end of the game. But I think what you're saying is in the non-Redux, so the original, you could only have it on the back of your cart. Right? Is that kind of what you're saying?
Correct,
Yeah. So we were able to carry around the flamethrower.
Well, now I feel like I'm missing out.
Yeah. I had the flamethrower like only for that part, and then like I figured like, oh, there's going to be no ammo for this thing, so I'm not going to carry this thing around and like not have my assault rifle. So I dropped it on the trolley, and I never found another flamethrower, and I really regret not keep holding on to it. Someone should have said like, hey, this is a special weapon, you might want to hold on to it because you're not going to find another one, and it's super useful.
Jacob, I think it's self-implied that you found a freaking flamethrower. Hold on to the flamethrower. The cool part about the game is they give you 3 slots to carry like primary weapons, I guess, or any weapon is. And the fact that as soon as I saw that one, I'm like, this is not leaving my sight. But there wasn't that much gasoline or ammo that you could find anyway. I would say I probably was able to reload it once fully after that little mission, and then I couldn't find anything afterwards.
Yeah, but for you, Josh, on the OG version of the game, there was like your menu basically had like, so I played about an hour of the original, so I kind of remember what it was. It's like you press a button, and then a bunch of boxes come up, and it's like, here are your 3 weapon boxes, and then to the left you've got your like knife box and your grenade box, right? Is that how it worked?
Yeah, so there's the knife box, where is their standard stabbing knife. And then under that there's the throwing knife box. And then there's like the pistol, your primary weapon number 2. So I think it was like usually assault rifle or submachine gun or something in your first primary spot. And then your pellet guns and 20-round automatic shotgun things.
And how did you take on and put off like the respirator, like use your generator? Like, do you remember how those worked? Like, how do you generate power for your flashlight or use your mask? Do you remember what the buttons were for that?
I held F for flashlight.
F for
or no. You press F for the flashlight, hold F for the generator, and you have to click the button about 50 times for it to charge right up. Mm-hmm. And for the gas mask, G for gas mask.
See, that's really good.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. The one thing though, I didn't know you had to charge your batteries until like 3/4 in the game. Because if I can't remember what it was. It might have been. I want to say it's. Oh, I know. It was the night vision goggles. So night vision goggles you don't really need until later in the game where you're in like a really dark area and it makes it a little bit easier to navigate. But I couldn't click them on, and I thought it was like a bug in my game. Like, why? Maybe the cheat engine's doing something. Or I don't know what it was. And I was like, why can't I use these? And then I find out it's battery operated, and you have to use your manual generator to like kick out, charge it up, and then use that. Like, did you guys know that you had to charge it from the very beginning, or was I just like the simpleton that didn't read something?
When I used the night vision, I only used it once. So like they force you to really use it because you're in a really dark area, and they're like, hey, this is a stealth section, quote unquote stealth section. You got to kill some guys, wear your night vision, and they kind of say this is like where you're going to kind of figure out how to use it. That's the only section I used it in. So like I just figured like it had to be charged because I always had my flashlight and my night vision on for that section. But like I didn't use the night vision that much.
Is that the one where the mission where there's that like you're going down into that one? I can't explain that right correctly, but there was that slime ball monster thing that was preventing you from turning on the generator for that one area, or that was the dark stealth section, right? Or am I wrong?
I think it was a little bit before that.
It was a little bit before. I know which one Jacob's talking about.
You have to kill like human enemies in that one, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't do any stealth any night vision until later on in that forced area because it was a lot easier to see things, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Something that I really struggled with, kind of talking on this like UI, buttons, whatever. On the controller, and I don't know if it's like this on PC for the Redux version, is they give you radio menus. So you basically hit the left bumper, and when you hit the left bumper, you get 2 round radio menus. And they're like, if you click the face buttons, you get like 4 different options. So to put on your mask, to change your cartridge. And then on the left side, it's like all of the non-essentials. So like charge your battery, you look at your watch. And I found that it was a really bad like implementation of UI, because like a lot of the time I would just like look at the menu and then use my right hand and press a button and not like actually press the D-pad to get the right option. It was just really difficult to use the radio menu. And I don't know if it's like that on PC, Mo.
Well, I play with the Xbox Elite controller for this game, so I had probably the same. Yeah, I had the same UI as you with the dials, and I didn't find them that great either. It was kind of annoying most of the time to get the exact right thing. Josh, you rocked that keyboard, right?
Yeah, I did mouse and keyboard for this. So everything was super straightforward and easy. No weird like radio menus and all that. It's just press this button for this, hold this button for that.
And it put the key above like what you needed probably, right? Where it's like, hey, this is F, this is G.
No, it only did that for the beginning. It was just like during the initial thing, the first time you encounter a door. Doors are for opening. You press E to open.
E, always, for every game. It's very, very quick and easy. That keyboard is just magical. Just all those keys, assign them to anything.
Except they only use like 10 keys on a keyboard when there's about like 100.
Something really cool that I geeked out about while playing the game is wearing a respirator in a video game. So a little bit about me in my real life. For a while, I marketed and sold respirators. So to have a game where you like got to wear a respirator, like find cartridges out and about, and you have like a watch to be like, hey, this is how much time your respirator is going to have. Like super, super cool.
So going to the respirator thing, I thought, hearing your breath that loud brought you into the game so much more. And like the more intense parts before you realize that the monsters are street sharks, it does bring you into the game quite a bit, because there's not really much background music as far as I can tell. And all you hear is you breathing and the sounds around you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially when like you're losing your breath or you need to put on your gas mask, because it doesn't really tell you. Once you hit it outside, one of the other characters might jump in and say, "Hey, put your mask on," maybe. But when you realize it is when your guy's like gasping for air, like, and you're like, oh yeah, I got to put that thing on. And you put it on, and he does that big inhale, and he's all good to go, like as if you saved your own life, and you're just all happy about it.
I wish there was an easier way to look at your watch instead of like going into the menu, hitting a button. You can kind of almost see it when you're shooting a gun, like out of the like bottom left-hand corner of your eye, you can kind of see the watch. But even when like it gives you a warning and it's like, hey, you have a minute left on this cartridge. And then like at the end of the cartridge, much like when you first enter and your breathing is labored, you have to like, it'll say, hey, you have a minute left. And then when you're down to 0, your character will start heavily breathing because he's got no protection from the outside elements, and you have to change the cartridge. And what was really cool for me is like how accurate the cartridges and the respirators were. Even there was a button that helped you like wipe your visor. Like if you double clicked the left bumper, it would wipe your visors, because sometimes like you would get liquid or you would get blood on your visor, or like you would get your visor cracked from somebody.
Once did that.
You never did? You never wiped it?
I just struggled through the game.
No, I'm pretty sure it's a feature just for Redux. The wiping your visor. I'm almost certain it's not like they're not able to do it in the regular edition of the game.
But did your visor ever break while you were in the game? Like, did it ever crack and you had to like pick up another respirator off a dead body?
It did crack pretty bad at a few points because my aim is not the best.
Yeah, I thought that was like super cool, and even how accurate, like, because like military will use cartridges that you like screw in. They're called DIN connectors, and they basically just have a threaded connector that you have to screw in. And even like that was like perfectly done. So like the respirator nerd in me was just like, why isn't there more respirators in video games?
Yeah, I think it's just like a personal attachment. A fun little fact that I discovered while at work one day. I mentioned it to one of my coworkers. Hey, this is the game I'm playing, Metro 23, and they brought up respirators right away. So it's funny that, but from their point of view, it was an annoyance because they could not find more respirators. It was almost like a full stoppage of the game. I think that's when he actually stopped playing it, was when he realized that I can't find any more respirators. It's taking forever. So from one point of view, when you're a respirator salesman, you're like, yeah, I'm playing a video game with my product. Other people can't find any respirators. I can't breathe. I can't play the game. It's like it goes both ways. Both ways.
I would imagine that in harder difficulties, like you have to look at like your bullets, not only like how many bullets you have for each weapon, but those military grade bullets. We haven't talked about it, but there are like two sets of bullets. There are the bullets that go in your weapons, and those are like bullets made in the underground that are like of poor quality. I think the first gun that you get is called a bastard gun, and they call it that because it's like a terrible weapon, and if you like use it, if you basically like spray and pray, not only will it overheat, but it'll also like your reticle will just go all the way up or all the way down, I forget. But bastard gun, so there's the weapons, the bullets that are made by the people underground, and then there are military grade bullets. And those are basically used as currency to buy upgrades, to buy med kits, to buy grenades. But I find in the normal difficulties, like you didn't have to worry about it. But I would imagine in the harder difficulties, you would have to find bullets for guns, bullets as like currency, and then also your respirator cartridges.
Yeah, so going to the military bullets thing, there's this one part where you had to plant a bomb to close off, I think, like an air vent or something like that. Yeah, I didn't realize that you had to do that because I kind of missed the point where they said that. So it was just like wave after wave after wave of those street sharks coming at you. And I ended up using up like all my ammo. And then I accidentally held R for a second when I was on my assault rifle and used up all of my military grade ammo. I was like,
oh no,
what happened? What happened now? These bullets are so much better to use.
But they're also my money because like you had that option in the menu. You could be like, if you're out of bullets, you can be like, I want to use my currency to shoot things. But like you are literally shooting money out the muzzle of your gun every time that you shoot a bullet to survive.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until I had to go buy something, and I had $0 or bullets or whatever you want to call it.
Now that you bring that moment up, that one mission where you had to like, I think you had to block a vent. It was like there was a couple entrances that the demons were coming from, and you had to blow up this one like escalator area, and then you also had to blow up another like train rail. But anyways, I did the same thing. I kept killing them. I had no idea where to go until I discovered the compass that you have. So the compass that you have using the Xbox Elite controller, I think it was one of the bumpers or something. When you pull it out, it guides you directly to the objective point. And it got to the point in the game where I was opening it up, walking to wherever it told me to go, opening it up, walking wherever you needed to go. Never really followed any other cues besides that compass. And if it made the game easier, but also made it kind of lame that all I was looking at was at a compass and not knowing exactly where to find anything naturally. It was pretty tricky.
Yeah, I never once used the compass. Didn't realize. I thought it all basically always pointed north.
Oh, really?
And see, like Mo, I used it nonstop. So all the time, like you hit I think it was the select button on the Xbox controller. So you'd hit select and then it would come up. In your right hand, you'd have this clipboard, which would have like your objectives on it and then the compass. And then in your left hand, you'd have this like bullet looking like lighter that you could use to like illuminate your clipboard to see what your objectives were. What I didn't love about that compass, I did follow it like you did, Mo, but I found that if you were in a multiple level like situation, like in the library, it didn't guide you. It basically like guided you to a point, irrespective of the height. So like say it was the top floor, it would guide you to exactly the right spot, but not like on the right level.
Yeah, well, I felt that sometimes too, but it was also, it kind of knew the level that you're on most of the time. It would guide you to like the entrance to the next section, but it was hit and miss. It was never spot on. Sometimes it did say, you're right here. It's like, no, you have to go a flight above. Other times it would guide you to the entrance to go to the next like level of the building, but it was never really that spot on. I wonder if even in the regular version, maybe they didn't have a compass. unless you did use one, well, even once, Josh.
There was a compass. I just never used it
thought of
properly. No.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No.
So I played the 360 version for about an hour. So I played the first 2 chapters and then moved on to the Redux version of the game like after that. So I thought, I'm going to play this game on 360. It's a struggle to play that game on 360 because it looks really awful. You can't play it on Xbox One. You can only play it on 360. It doesn't look great. It hasn't aged well to the point where I went back to the store and I got the Redux version of the game that was $13 just because I couldn't bear to look at this game anymore.
With being on PC though, by default you can change the graphics settings right up. I don't know if it came in like a future update because they had I think the original was like DirectX 9 or something, and then they had support for 10 and 11, and I was all the way up to DirectX 11. So what I first thought when I looked at the graphics was, for a game that came out in 2010, this actually looks pretty good.
So I think what we're saying is between all of us, we're saying if you can pick a version, play the Redux, but the original PC game is actually pretty okay. It actually is pretty good from the sound of what you're saying, right?
Yeah, and it was the original version, not the Redux.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
maybe just don't play the 360 version.
Yeah, don't play the 360 version, you console peasant.
Yeah, it has not aged well. Something that let's talk about things that maybe made you cringe. Did you guys deal with Sasha, the little boy, whose uncle passed away?
Unforgettable.
Yeah, so on the 3 points that I made to talk about, because I take lots of notes, was that little kid, Sasha, was the worst part of the game. I just jumped off the edge a couple of times.
My uncle, he's dead. Where is my uncle? Uncle.
Jacob, that was actually spot on. If you haven't played this game and you're listening to Jacob right now saying that's the most ridiculous voice, there's no way he's making fun of this game. No. The most cringe-worthy voice, the most annoying character. It got to the point where when you're playing a serious game like that, I won't laugh at a storyline. I won't really laugh at a storyline that much until I saw that moment and I actually bust out laughing in this serious moment. I'm like, there's no way. This has to be a meme somewhere. It's somewhere there's a subreddit about this kid alone, and there's something going around. It was ridiculous.
And not only that, his uncle died, and he's like,
you need to take me to the next station.
And then literally 10 seconds after you meet him, he sees you and he's like,
I don't know. My parents told me to not go and find strangers. And then he goes, oh, but you have a gun. Maybe you can take me to where I need to go.
It was so that. Sasha was the epitome of why this game is not great. Just because you could have easily made it. There are good kids in video games. There are kids that look at little sisters in BioShock, or look at, I'm trying to think of other look at in the new God of War, look at Atreus, look at Ellie in The Last of Us. There are good kids in video games. Sasha is a disgrace.
It was almost as if it was put in as comic relief. That's how funny and silly and just out of place. It was like an eyesore of the game. If it wasn't in there, the game would have been fine. But now that it's in there, it's come on. You're just digging that sword in a little bit deeper in us, man. Come on.
So I think what I did is I looked at my phone when that happened, and then all of a sudden I felt encumbered because he actually gets on your back. So at one point he's like,
oh, I'm gonna trust this stranger now.
He gets on your back, and you actually can't turn as quickly because this kid's on your back. But it happens so fast of him getting on my back and me not looking at the screen that I'm like, where did this kid go? Why is he still talking and I don't see him? It's because he's on your back and you take him to his mother that is just conveniently 3 or 4 minutes away.
Yeah. His voice initially when you hear it, I actually thought it might be a new type of demon. A new character is going to be popping out of him, come out of his eyes and just kill you if you come too close. But no, my dreams did not come true.
Yeah, at first, earlier in the game, there's nothing creepier than children's laughter in an intense moment or a kind of horror game or whatever. I thought it was gonna be a ghost of a kid or something like that. And it's like, oh no, this kid is real. Oh no, it's part of the actual game.
Yeah, and then even as a character stays in there, you're like, oh my god. And not only is it a part of the game, it's like part of the storyline. It was intentionally put in there to ruin your day.
If there's one character that should have died, it probably should have been the kid.
It was the kid. A question just on that. So, like, when you give the kid to the mother, you're given a choice of, like, hey, do you want it? She's giving you bullets to be like, I don't have much to give you, but here are some bullets. And you can either take the bullets or not take the bullets, which are currency. Did you guys know that this game has a hidden morality system in it?
I found that out before I had the last part of the game, like the last little bit mission or whatever. I discovered that there was two different endings, a good ending and a bad ending, and that was part of it. But when I made that decision, I didn't know about it. I just used my logic from previous games. I'm like, if I do something nice, I will probably get rewarded. So I was like, no, you keep the $3 or whatever. I'll move on. Hoping that I was going to get rewarded, and then, spoiler alert, I didn't.
Did you know that the game had a hidden morality system, Josh?
Not at all.
Yeah, so it's hidden below the surface. They never tell you about it. Because, some games are like, if you do bad things, you'll be a bad guy, but if you do good things, people will love you. In this game, there's none of that. It doesn't even tell you that you're, the decisions that you're making, quote-unquote, are affecting the end of the story. But every decision you make, even ones that seem, very simple, if you go in and look at the Wikia page for moral choices in Metro 2033, there are, 100 different choices that, if you do them, you get a point, and then if you don't do them, you lose a point. And I think if you're in the positives, you get the good ending, and if you're in the negatives, you get the bad ending.
So you're going to say there's 100 different choices? I only recall about 2. Taking the bullets, and then I don't remember what the other one is, but I only remember 2.
But even there are small decisions. So example, one of your many compatriots just dies, and then you have the option to take his gun or take his ammo, whatever. One of the choices could even be your compatriot just died and you take his weapon. That's a bad choice. It's stuff that's as simple as that. And there's I'm not exaggerating, there's probably 70 or 80, but 70 or 80 of those binary decisions of just hey, this affects you in a good way, hey, this affects you in a bad way.
Yeah, and then I think I found out later on too is you had to talk to a lot of people in each station. So in between every level, you get to a station where you kind of reload your weapons, buy some ammo, and there's a lot of people just standing there. And apparently if you walked up to some of them, I didn't do it because I just got in, wanted to advance to the next part. They would trigger one of those types of maybe situations, I'm guessing, because they said that if you go through and talk to everyone, you may get the good ending based off of your behavior.
Yeah, I literally talked to nobody in the stations. I walked up to the gun and ammo booth a couple of times, and it's oh wait, I shot all my bullets.
Yeah, I didn't talk to anyone. I literally went to the shopkeep to be hey, I want to look at your guns, maybe upgrade my guns. I want to look at your secondary stuff, and then I want to look at your bullets. But I didn't talk to anyone except in the first station. I talked to that little boy who's I'm going to take you on a tour if you give me a bullet. And I did, and that's the only person I spoke to.
Yeah, so I don't know if I missed part of it, or it's just because I played the original. I don't remember anything about customization of weapons.
Oh, I customized. Well, one and two things. I found that I initially did buy an upgraded weapon, or I customized the weapon a couple times. But then I noticed as you just go on throughout the game, you'll find some pretty decked out weapons already. And I want to say midway through onwards, I would just keep whatever I found in the field. And if I really wanted to upgrade, it would be because I wanted a different type of weapon, or I ran out of bullets or whatever it was. With that kid though, Jacob, I want to touch back on it. Earlier on, when he it's another kid. This isn't the annoying one. He comes up and he's like, hey, if you give me one bullet, I'll guide you to where you have to go. I didn't pay that kid that one ammo thing. I was like, no way, go, I'm not paying you. And he keeps asking for it throughout the thing. He's like, I can't remember what he says, but he's like, oh, you're so cheap or something. And I was like, no, I'll find my way. There's no way. This is a linear game. I'll find my way out.
Yeah,
There's no way.
and I just gave the kid a bullet. I'm like, just be quiet. And what's funny is he takes you to the right spot, and then if you look, because there were a lot of single or 3 bullet little gifts, gifts, not gifts. hidden throughout the world. So if you looked like under a cot or like in a locker, there were a lot of like, here's 1 gold bullet, here's 3 gold bullets. Immediately after that kid takes you somewhere, there's 1 bullet just hanging out that you can just like take and be like, yoink, guess that tour was free.
Yeah, I gave the kid the bullet. Didn't find that bullet. So I'm just like, oh, great. I would have found this in like 30 seconds. He saved me about 30 seconds.
He did save you about 30 seconds.
We already touched on two of the notes that I had.
Okay, what's your third point?
So my third note was that really important emergency message was a cassette tape. This is based in 2010. Or, sorry, 2013.
Yeah.
Made in 2010.
Yeah, so this game's actually based in 2033. So, like, that technology would have been made in 2013.
Yeah, and the the end of the world or apocalypse or whatever happened in 2013.
And this important message about the end of the world is on a cassette tape.
And thinking back to 2013, even 2010, I didn't even see a cassette tape for probably about like 10 years or so.
You know what the thing that made me really upset about that particular section of the game? So one of your many compatriots, as they tend to in Metro 2033, they die because everyone dies in this game. He hands you a cassette tape and he's like, go take this to the council, right? And so you take it to the council and like what I thought is like, oh, cool. This is like a point in the game where the story kind of diverges, where they tell you like, hey, what's going on? Like, because they didn't really explain the apocalypse thing. I don't remember. Like they just kind of alluded to the fact that there was an apocalypse. So they're like, come into this high council meeting and like, we'll say what's on this tape, blah, blah, blah. They just literally look at a clock and you skip through the whole council meeting and you learn nothing about what's on the tape, what happened to the world. It's such a pointless story device.
And going with not being in the loop on things, like where do these aliens come from?
The ones that are in your mind, or the ones that are in your mind, right? The dark ones?
All of the above.
Yeah, because I think they're mutated animals, but there are also those dark ones, right? And like some of them are hallucinating in your mind, and you have to like fight against them. The big thing at the end of the game, throughout the game, there's like aliens that or like creatures that infiltrate your mind, and they cause you to have hallucinations. And then the final part of the game, spoilers, you have a hallucination where you have to like run away from these creatures.
I fell off the edge so many times.
Oh, so did I, because I didn't know what I was doing. At least 15. I was probably the same, because I didn't know what I was doing. I'm like, am I running towards them? Because in most of the other game, you run towards them. But I was like, oh, I have to run away from them. I totally fell off the tower like 20 times as well.
Yeah, same thing. I think I fell a couple times, and then I realized, well, first of all, it was creepy. Like those little figures, they're like dark humanoids, kind of like Slender Man-y, but like you could see them. And they throughout the entire time in this ending sequence, when you have to run away from them, the one master person keeps saying, "We have to get him, kill him, destroy him. He's trying to destroy us. He can't come close." And you have to just keep running and running, and then, oh my gosh, I think that was probably one of the creepiest moments in games that I've actually played through was in that little sequence.
Yeah, because they were like, I would almost classify them as like the Greys from XCOM, as they were just like very skinny, like very typical gray aliens, like slender alien face, but they were hallucinating. You were hallucinating. I still don't know why you were like, why are you the chosen one, quote unquote, like the device they always use in games, like you're the chosen one. Like, why are you seeing these hallucinations? Why are you immune to the fog? Why are you immune to some of the things that happen throughout the game?
Because you're the main character.
Yeah, that's it. You're RTM. You're the chosen one. That's literally the only reason why.
Yeah,
it's stupid.
Well, from the very beginning, one of the moments I still remember to this game was, I think it was Pavel's comment on that anomaly or whatever. So in like the train tracks, there's this electric like lightning bolt that like travels by itself like through places and destroys all the bad guys, all the good guys, everything in between. It kills you yourself. So you're always like scared of it. And then Pavel mentions, he's like, it's not evil, it's not good. It's like you wouldn't say that about fire, and he applies that same logic to this like anomaly, saying like fire's not evil or bad, it just abides by its own like rules. So it's almost they kind of early on say like they plant that seed telling you that these anomalies, these aliens, maybe they're not bad, maybe they're not good either. Like maybe you have to kind of make that decision, and that's where that good decision and bad decision comes out in the end. So later you find out you're launching those rockets to destroy the city. That's the, I guess, spoiler of the ending of the game. So I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, the good ending is you destroying the rockets and not causing further damage, and you create a bond with those aliens. The bad solution is you act like the human that you are, war, and destroy using those rockets. And that's the one I got. I got the bad ending where you're destroying everything, and you say, oh, maybe the end doesn't justify the means kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%. So the bad ending, like you said, the Ranger ending is you destroy the Dark Ones, and then the good ending, the Enlightened ending, is you save the Dark Ones. But you have that same hallucination. The only difference is you exit the hallucination, and then you realize that there's actually a Dark One in the world, like right in front of you, and you have the option. You actually don't have the option, but you either shoot him or you shoot the laser guided missile system that's going to destroy them. That's the only difference between the end. And then there's a monologue, and then the game just ends.
Yeah, see, I had that little figure that you had a revolver, you could point the gun at him and shoot him. Well, just by default, I shot him because I'm just like, oh, there's a bad guy.
That's what you've been bred to do throughout all of your gaming, right?
Yeah, anyone that's,
guy.
That you've been fighting or looks like they'd be bad, you just shoot them.
It's the best thing that I did is on the Xbox One, there's an ending glitch where, depending on your morality, like what your morality is at, sometimes the ending won't trigger. So all that you'll do is you'll have that hallucination, you'll shoot the Dark One in the hallucination, and then the game just literally goes back to the world, the missile fires, and then the game just ends. So that's what I had happen the first time I played the game, is there was that ending glitch where you just shoot the guy in your hallucination, and then they said the missile has been launched, and then the game just ends. No credits, it just loads back to the beginning menu. That to me was just like the cherry on top of this like very middling, bizarre experience that was Metro 2033. Maybe I'd built it up in my like time, and maybe that's why I like was so disappointed by it, that I just would tell everyone like, oh yeah, Metro 2033, that's the bullets as currency game. I heard it's all right. I heard it's pretty good. I didn't like. It's a totally functional shooter. It feels decent to play, but the monster designs fully took me out of it. I don't know if you guys have any other thoughts. I have one last thought, but that's pretty much kind of what I think about the game.
But my final thought is, I'd say a step down from you, Jacob. I wouldn't even suggest even like playing it. I'd say skip it. You're not missing much. Like if you want a similar game that does a lot better, Doom 3. It has the same like aliens. Weapons are more cool, I guess. There's a storyline of some sort. It's been upgraded and like revitalized. Play that. Skip this one. I don't know. That's my 2 cents on this.
You know, I do agree with that. If you don't play this game, you're not missing much.
Yeah, I think what some people are going to love is, people who just love a challenge and love hard games. So I think that like if you like a hard game and you like to challenge yourself, if you have this on a different difficulty, a higher difficulty, you may really enjoy it. Just like scrounging for stuff, just barely making it through encounters, having to save your shots. But all of us kind of played it the average way it would be played, like medium difficulty, like resources are fine, like I never struggle with resources. This is my ideal Metro 2033, how it would look. So the funnest part for me in this game was fighting other human colonies. So like shooting, like going into like example that Nazi colony and like or the Soviet, like the red
communist
the communist colony, and like going in there and shooting everybody. Like to me, the human enemies were the best part of this game. So what I want in a Metro 2033 video game would be like going into other colonies and just like having to deal with other colonies that are attacking you, and like deal with the scarcity of resources between those different colonies. Like that's what I want from Metro 2033. I don't want to fight bad guys that like look like
street sharks.
I just want to play a game where I'm actually shooting other colonies, and maybe that's why I really like Wolfenstein, because I would probably go for Wolfenstein: A New Order over this game. This game tries to do a lot. It's very ambitious. 4A is a studio out of Kiev. They were founded in Kiev. Now they're in Malta. I think it's ambitious, and it tries to be like Modern Warfare. It tries to be Wolfenstein with the world building. It tries to do this cool thing with like bullets as currency, but I think that it just doesn't succeed at any of the games, and that's why it's just very middling. I was very disappointed by it.
I think now knowing that there's like the morality and all that in it, like I could see myself playing this game again and doing it stealthy, not run and gun like most games are these days. You just, run around, shoot the bad guys, don't even question who they are. Apparently, you could live in peace with them, or you end up killing them all.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's only some of them. Like some of the librarians you could not kill, but like some of the guys, like you have no option. You just have to kill them. Yeah,
they'll kill you or you kill them.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Did you have a point, Mo?
No.
I'm gonna say this though. This game came highly recommended by a lot of people, which is why I thought like, hey, let's go for it. I know Humble just gave it away for free on PC about 2 months ago. I was disappointed by Metro 2033, but I would give Metro Last Light a shot, just because like it seems they're trying to do something cool, and to me it seemed like the original Assassin's Creed, where like they tried to do something cool, they succeeded. It wasn't a great game, but like look what came with Assassin's Creed 2. So like just in that, like I know it probably gets better. I would give Last Light a shot, especially with Metro Exodus coming, the third game in the series very soon.
Yeah, I would want to look at reviews on the next version, and I might play it. I was kind of just detached, and I was like, man, there's so many games out here. I might be better served playing something that maybe I will like. But you're right. It has a solid foundation. It's just not put together. The story wasn't that great. I didn't like the bad guys at all. Or maybe I just didn't follow it the right way. Maybe even some like early tutorial or guidance to start the game to show you the strategy that maybe you want to try out. Or maybe I need more guidance just with video games in general.
I think the tutorial's bad because it's like it sends you 8 days in the future, and they just like barely explain anything, and they're like, just go shoot things, and then they have you come back, like they throw you back, but then like only give you a limited set. So they give you the whole set of your like inventory and your weapons and your whatever, and then they take it all away, and then you have to like relearn it again. It just seems like super pointless the way they started the game. Plus there are turret sequences in this game, and like I don't think that turret sequences in any video game are good. They're like passable at best, so why even like try and mess with that? I don't know. I guess I'm just really disappointed, and that's why I'm kind of heated up about this game, is because like I wanted it to be good, and it really like for me underdelivered.
Yeah, and the thing is, like you came in like excited, knowing it was going to be great, and it fell short. I didn't know much about it, and it still fell short. So your whole bias ahead of time, I think it doesn't even apply, because like we had the same real experiences.
I've been trying to push this game for months, like almost since the beginning of the podcast. I've been being like, yo, Metro 2033, let's play it. And Mike, who's a soft boy who doesn't like to be scared, hope you're listening to this, Mike. I hope you're doing well. He'll be on our next episode, by the way. He is not gone. He's just taking a little break because he doesn't like scary games. I think he probably dodged a bullet with this one.
A scary kind of shooter game, the first one that I played was Fear. That one was awesome. I played that when I was, I don't remember, 12 or 13, and it was great. Mm-hmm. Terrifying. You should have him play that one.
And so since we're all giving suggestions in the same vein, you say Fear, I'm going to say Condemned, Criminal Origins, because that for me is a game that I always like, yes, play Condemned. It's a great video game. There's 2 of them, very scary. There's some shooting in it, but you go to it for the scare factor. Mo, is there any games that you would say, like, instead of playing Metro 2033, Josh said Fear, I said Condemned, what would you say?
In terms of a scary game, I think I would still put Doom 3 in this type of era-ish game. But then again, I also have never dabbled in the Resident Evil, and I would concede to you, Jacob, in a recommendation as to which Resident Evil that we may even play here on the Left Behind Game Club.
Yeah, well, because Resident Evil 7 is like one of the only first-person shooters. Most of them are third-person shooters. That one's a first-person game. But I think what we've done here is recommend 3 games that we liked better. Josh said Fear, I said Condemned, you said Doom 3, which is a little bit older, but it's still a good game that I would play over Metro. I guess, look, if I had to give this game a rating, I'm not saying it's garbage. It's not a toilet game. It just, like, for me, was very disappointing. Ambitious with mechanics and with its story building, but it just, in every respect, falls short.
I'll just leave it at, I don't feel like I wasted my time playing this game.
Well, there you go.
I do.
Mo does. So I think that's going to do it for us and the show. 2 pieces of business before we stop. We have an Instagram account, right, Mo?
Yes, we do. If you guys follow us on Instagram, you'll see a little bit of behind the scenes. Sometimes we post a little bit of live story action of us playing the games we're currently playing, or what we're actually up to in terms of the Left Behind Game Club. That's at Left Behind Game Club on Instagram. Jacob, what about that Discord?
We have a Discord. It's brand new. Well, not brand new, but like we've had it for a little while now. People come in, we talk about games. We've got new channels. So if you're interested in talking about things that are not video games, we have an off-topic channel now, but largely it's to talk about the games we're playing, the games we want to play, and then just a great place to put all the game deals that you feel are great. If you want to join our Discord, you can do so at leftbehindgame.club. That's going to be it. Mo, if people want to find you on the internet, where can they do so?
You can find me at Murtadi, everywhere online.
Josh, are you on the internet?
I am on the internet, yes.
Where can people find you on the internet?
If you look hard enough, you'll find me, but I'm not going to give you any hints.
Oh, okay.
Excellent. And if you want to find me, you can find me at Jacob McCourt. And if you want to watch us play the Vidya games, me play the Vidya games, you can do so at jacobstreams.com. Mo, you have one last point?
And that, my friends, is one game left, not left, but damn it, where's Mike?
Can we try it again? Can I give it a shot? Here we go. And that, my friends, is one less game left behind.
Okay, cool.
Oh, I nailed it!